Zen, the method of no method. Zen is considered the highest of all possible cultivation schools in existence because it doesn't rely on any method at all. It just directly points to the true nature of the mind. In terms of the pathway to Tao, it is neither an adding nor subtracting method of cultivation. Zen does not rely on any artificial techniques. In Zen, you don't add anything to the mind in order to attain Samadhi, nor do you try to subtract anything from the mind. In other words, with Zen practice, you neither accept nor reject your thoughts in trying to attain Samadhi, but you simply let them come and go without clinging. There's no effort involved at all, except for the effortless fundamental watching or knowing that is always there. Zen is therefore called the method of no method. In Zen, as in Tibetan Mahamudra, you simply ride the function of awareness and turn it inward, reflecting it back to its source to perceive the fundamental essence of this knowing. Some refer to this process as resting, since it means dropping the busy mind or letting everything go, while the function of knowing continues to stay. Thus, in Zen, the mind is perfectly open and aware, yet mental busyness naturally comes to a rest. Some people mistakenly consider this a particular form of cultivation technique, but since awareness is a perfectly natural process that's always there, where is there any special method or artificial contrivance? Whether we know something or don't know something, our true mind knows that we know or don't know, so awareness always shines. In cultivation, it's the root source of this awareness we must find. Our minds are forever visited by chaotic and confusing thoughts. So in Zen, we treat these thoughts like hotel guests that come and go without prolonging their stay. If you give them no service, but simply watch them without adding any energy to the situation, in time all the guests will depart and you will arrive at Samadhi. The Zen master Chia Shan said, "The dragon carries the ocean pearl in its mouth, paying no attention to the fish swimming by. These are the mental realms which arise. Hence, if you continue to shine effortless awareness on your mind's activities and the experiential realms that may arise, without becoming involved in these multitudinous phenomena, you will naturally scale the various ranks of Samadhi and attain self-realization." In Zen practice, you never hold on to any mental realm or phenomenon that arises because of your cultivation. nor do you ever identify any stage of progress as being the ultimate attainment. If you fixate on any state as being it, you're already out of Zen. Once you think that any stage of progress is real, you've already produced an illusion that masks the true nature. For instance, even thinking about emptiness creates a thought of emptiness, and the thought is actually an impurity that will mask any stage of emptiness you may have already achieved. So the method of practicing Zen is that of simply shining awareness on all the mental realms that arise, and in time they will naturally depart without staying, like clouds dispersing in the open sky. Then you'll be left with true emptiness, the awareness of knowing that state. But since that emptiness is also an object of your knowing, it's not the true self. Hence, you have to turn around and see what gives rise to this knowing. Progressing with this exercise of wisdom, you will eventually arrive at fundamental mind, which is the fundamental nature. Every thought and every type of mental realm, including the various Samadhi, have to depart, because nothing stays. Death will certainly come to thoughts as it does to all phenomena. Only one thing remains unmoved during all these transformations: the true self, which is the ultimate source of awareness. You can go east or go west, but that one thing has never moved, has never left, and has never gone anywhere. It's just that the experiential realm within it has transformed. Thus it is that Zen Master Pao Chi said, "If you only learn to cultivate unmindfulness at all times, while you are walking, standing, sitting and reclining, then you may fail over time to leap over to the true reality, only because your strength is insufficient. But if you continue practicing in this way for another 3, 5, or 10 years, you will surely awaken to Tao in the end. This is because you cannot practice in this manner that you set your mind on the academic study of Zen and Tao. But this is irrelevant. Thus we say that the mind can give birth without abiding anywhere. There's nothing wrong with these thoughts themselves. It's just that you shouldn't cling to them. In fact, the mind should not dwell in the experiential realm. Furthermore, we must note that on this road of practice, it's very easy for your breath to combine naturally with your thoughts so as to transform the physical body and bring about all sorts of kung fu. Thus Zen has all the esoteric changes and stages described by the world's other cultivation schools, but it makes no fuss about these matters. It ignores such phenomena because they are transient manifestations, just like any other, which are always in a process of transformation, and thus Zen discards any preoccupation with these states and proceeds directly to the true nature. In the other schools, however, people end up getting attached to prana, chi channels, chakras, astral bodies, and all sorts of other experiential realms, with the result that hardly anyone makes it to enlightenment, making no fuss and paying no attention to these things. Most Zen practitioners tread the straight path to Tao, whereas other practitioners get lost along the way. The fourth Zen patriarch said to Fa Yong, "The hundreds and thousands of gates to Tao are all ultimately in the mind. The subtle virtues, as numerous as river sands, all lay in the source of mind. All aspects of discipline, Samadhi, prajna, and the manifestations of various spiritual powers are all inherently there. They're nowhere else but in your own true mind. All your mental afflictions and obstructions caused by habit energies are originally empty and void. All the causes and effects of mundane existence are like dreams and hallucinations. So in true cultivation, just let your mind be free. You do not perform contemplative practices, and you do not promote efforts to make your mind clear. Don't arouse the emotions of greed or anger, and don't fall into sorrow or worry. Flowing, unhindered and unobstructed, be free in all ways, however you might be. When there is no doing good and no doing evil, then all your activities and circumstances, everything that meets your eyes, will be the inconceivable function of Buddhahood. It is blissful and sorrowless, so we call it Buddhahood. Union with child light to realize mother light. There are two types of light in the universe, called mother light and child light. Mother light is the invisible, formless basis of light that can give rise to physical light, and it is physical light that is the light we can see or measure because it has form or appearance. The images of the physical world we see with our eyes, including brightness, darkness, shades and colours, are the light with form that cultivation schools called child light. While child light is visible, the true mother light is not something we can see with our eyes, because it is fundamentally formless. Cultivation science says that our true self-nature is akin to this mother light, but its formless radiance is something we realize with the mind, rather than something we perceive through the senses. To see any form of child light requires that we use our eyes, because our eyes possess this inherent capacity to see. We can view all sorts of colours and phenomena, but the thing that ultimately enables our eyes to see all of these appearances is not a type of light, and the path of cultivation is the search to find that one thing that is ultimately, foundationally, behind all our seeing and knowing. We call this thing the true mind, because it is the ground state of awareness, and we call it the fundamental nature, because it's our true essence of being, the one that stands behind all our knowing and awareness states. Zen Master Mahakalashyapa abides in Samadhi, practicing the method of union with Mother Light. Hence, he is often known as the drinker of light, or the eater of light. Now, the method we'll introduce for cultivating the seeing of light is different from the methods used in Taoism, Hinduism, yoga, or Tibetan esoteric Buddhism. These other schools have various cultivation practices for seeing light, but they substantially differ from this one. Our method starts by utilizing our eyes in looking at natural light, and it doesn't matter what form of natural light we employ. We can use the sunlight, the light of the moon or stars, and even the artificial light from light bulbs. Unlike other cultivation practices that rely on specific forms of light, in this method we can use any source of light that comes our way. This cultivation technique starts by having you look straight ahead in front, with your eyes facing the light and without moving your eyeballs. To be able to do this requires some kung fu, because you have to allow your eyes to point straight ahead without tiring. They must remain relaxed without movement. At this moment, whether the eyes are open or closed, an image of light will always appear to the eyes. With your motionless eyes now facing the light, relax your body and mind and just stay in that state. Let your body and self merge with the light, no matter what type of light you're seeing, and gradually forget your body. In time, the light you will see will extend to fill the universe, and it will seem as if there is no such thing as space or time. No matter how the light changes, there should be no other realization than I am the light, and the light is me. Practicing in this way, emptiness, light, and you will merge into one. This is the basis behind the New Testament saying God is light. But Tibetan Buddhism and Hinduism also recognize this stage of spiritual recognition. This, however, is still a childlike scenario belonging to the realm of form, since it still emphasizes the light that eyes can see, and you are still depending on the mind of discrimination in this practice. When you can realize, I am light, you are still at the stage of conception and ideational consciousness, wherein you know and comprehend things at an intellectual level. But the thing that enables us to comprehend light and its fundamental energy is not a light with form, nor does it belong within the domain of consciousness. That's the thing we want to recognize. When you reach the stage of the ultimate, fundamental no form, you already forget about the knower, the knowing, and the object to be known. You forget about what you see, the process of seeing, and what fundamentally enables you to see. This is a state of true no form. This is when the mother light and the child light conjoin. The light of formlessness and form come together so that there is no discrimination whatsoever, which is the Samadhi of true wisdom. In this practice, you merge your prajna knowing, developed through the path, with the primordial wisdom which has always been there, and the child's light merges with the mother light. This is how one should practice if they wish to cultivate the child light as a path to Tao.